Hi, I want to welcome you to my very first Founders Friday video blog. And what I want to do is just to speak from my heart on these Fridays and just keep kind of a record of what's going on and how many ways I have been able to see God and joy in this journey. So let me take you first of all to the first story I want to share with you, and it's about 2 a.m. conversations. You see, in 2020, as the world was dealing with the ravages of a pandemic, the company that I repped was also struggling. And as the year wound down on December 1st, this company that I loved, that I had poured my heart into developing a business and a team that I love dearly, I found out that it was going to close. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I was watching a video in a Facebook group for all of the leaders of the company, and it was announced on December 31st, your company is going to close. That's it. It's over. And we'd been fighting hard and really didn't know that it was this close to a decision to close it. And I'll be honest, I don't remember a lot about those next couple of days. I remember I cried a lot and I was just numb and angry and sad. It was probably some of the deepest grief that I've ever experienced outside of losing a loved one, was losing that. I felt like I was losing my identity, who I was, my purpose. It was gone. And I don't know if you've ever experienced something like that, but it's devastating. And if you're going through something like that right now, I see you. It's awful. But the only thing I knew how to do, the only place I felt like I could turn, besides people that loved me and were caring for me and reaching out, and I'm super blessed that way, was to just pray. Because I knew God knew this, and He was not blindsided by it like I was. So I began to pray. And my husband will tell you that I woke up on December 2nd with my business open overnight because I couldn't sleep, and it was really, you kind of cry all your tears out. So I started doing some research and discovered, you know what, how do people go about teaching piano lessons in a pandemic? Because you can't really just parade children through your home and have them all touch your piano and sit right there. And yeah. So I did research and found out a lot of private teachers had gone on to Zoom. So on December 2nd, I had a logo, I had a name, I had opened up my Square business account to start charging. I was starting to put some posts together, and I had heard from God, start your piano studio back up. Okay, you can do it virtually. Kind of weird, but you know what? Here I am a year and a half later, and it's still going strong. I love teaching. I love my students. They are a huge blessing to me, and it's provided immediate income replacement for what I lost. But a night or two later, I'm still just, I'm whining. Let's be honest, I'm whining. God, what are you doing? I had built a team. I had learned to train and to motivate. I learned to manage. I learned retail sales. I had learned fashion in the jewelry business. What are you doing with all this? Am I really going to go back to what I did in high school and college and as a young mom, to be able to stay home and to have a part-time job? And it was a little before 2 a.m, and this little voice whispered to me and said, of course not. Go start your own jewelry business and hire the women from Faith Home. Well, that wasn't really what I was expecting or asking for, but God is good. And even though I didn't know anything about the manufacturing process or making process of jewelry, I don't know Spanish. I'm studying it now, but I took French in high school. So they look at me just as crazy when I speak French, and Honduras says when I speak English. So, you know, that's doing me a lot of good. But yay, Duolingo, I am studying. I didn't know anything about opening a corporation. I didn't know about logistics and fulfillment. I didn't know how to build a website. I didn't know about corporate taxes. I didn't know about W-2 employees, and I most certainly knew nothing about opening a corporation in Honduras. Nothing. I could open a piano studio. I got DBA. I knew how to do that. I didn't know how to do this. And well, so all I knew how to do after that little moment was continue to pray. Well, God, if this is what you're calling me to, I know you'll equip me for it, but I don't know what to do. Well, reach out to your dad. He knows Faith Home, and he knows Honduras, and he knows the issues there, that the young women are not finding safe ways to support themselves and ways to earn enough money to support themselves when they're aging out of Faith Home. So that's the problem I want you to solve and work on solving with me. And okay, so I emailed my dad. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. He wasn't sleeping either because he emailed me right back. And we got the ball rolling there. And I also emailed the president of the jewelry company. And he wasn't sleeping either because he also got right back to me. And by the next morning, I had a plane ticket booked to Texas. Please remember, this is December of 2020. So there are not vaccines. The pandemic numbers are raging, and flying is petrifying because, yeah. So I got on a plane and it was empty and flew to Texas. And I had asked him, are you clearancing out some of the findings and beads and things that I might be able to purchase some in order to create our first collection? And he said, yes, buy a plane ticket. And I had told him what my budget was. And so I flew down there, and he gave me an entire day with the designer who designed a lot of the jewelry collections for that company. And he set me up with her all day. She met me at the airport. We went straight to the manufacturing plant, which was totally a complete ghost town. It was eerie because I had toured it in its prime. No one was there. It was empty. It was all getting ready to be clearanced and liquidated. And we worked all day. We designed 15 pieces that became our first premier collection in our jewelry collection. And then we began going through and pulling out, because we designed them from pieces that we took apart and some beads that we had found, but mostly pieces we took apart and refashioned them into new pieces. So we began to pile all the pieces together to make 50 or 75 or even 100 of some of those pieces. And I'm doing math in my head, like, he is not listening to what this budget was going to be. And I'm panicking, and we got to pack my suitcase because I'm flying back out same day. And hang on, Gretchen, this is probably more than what I can afford to buy. And she looked at me like I had 3 eyeballs. What are you talking about? And she got the president on the phone. And what's she talking about? Buying all of this, and put him on speaker. Sarah, you used your money to buy the airline ticket to come down. I'm giving you the jewelry. And that is how Alegria was able to get started, debt-free, and produce our first tens of thousands of dollars worth of inventory. Well, before I wrap up here, I want to take you to Psalm 13, because I feel like David was in the same place that I was, in just incredible grief. And scholars debate whether David was writing this when Saul was chasing him and he was fearing for his life, or if it was after his son had betrayed him and tried to take over the kingdom. Either way, here's what he writes. "O Lord, how long will you forget me? Forever? How long will you look the other way? How long must I struggle with anguish in my soul, with sorrow in my heart every day? How long will my enemy have the upper hand? Turn and answer me, O Lord my God. Restore the sparkle in my eye, or I will die. Don't let my enemies gloat, saying, we have defeated him. Don't let them rejoice at my downfall. But I trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. And as we break that down, I see there's 3 sections. First of all, David says, God, what are you doing? This hurts. Isn't that where we find ourselves in moments when something's been ripped away or we're in grief? And then he begins to ask for help. Lord, help me, help me. But the final part is to trust and rejoice because God is good. So I just want to give you some encouragement when those things sweep you off your feet, when the air gets knocked out of your lungs, when you can't sleep for weeping, when you can't even weep anymore. It's okay to cry out and tell God it hurts. Ask him for help. And then there is a place of joy. There is rejoicing because God is good. So trust that God is good. Do you know, over that week, people kept sending me messages because I have so many people that reached out and loved me and cared for me. And they kept sending me pictures with the word joy in it, a Christmas ornament, an old catalog from our company from Christmas that said joy. In fact, I was getting my hair cut and my stylist usually carves a little bit in the back of my head, a design or a word or a picture. And she said, what do you want? I said, I don't even know. Whatever you want to do is fine. And she carved the word joy, the back of my head. I told her later, you know, you helped name my company. When I got off the plane in Texas, it was Christmas, and I walked out of the area where I came off the plane, and this huge display, this huge Christmas display said joy. Alegria means joy. That's what this is. It's a joy to serve and to work to create jobs for these sisters of mine that are aging out of faith home and need a good place to work with a safe job, with a job they love. And well, ladies, we need pretty jewelry. And this allows us to be missional with that fun little purchase. I love that. I love that God's created this and that he created me to do something like this. There is joy in our jewelry. There's joy in our jobs. There's joy in this journey. And I'm so glad you're a part of it with me. Thank you for being a joy creator with Alegria. Trust God is good.